What are the most commonly asked questions about the Order of the Arrow? Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk a little bit about the Order of the Arrow. We have tons of questions that come in all the time. Wait a minute, I have to be in uniform. So let me just, there you go, now I'm in uniform. There's lots of questions, and these are like the top 5. Now, we're going to exclude the number 1, okay? The number 1 is, what is the Order of the Arrow? So if this is your first exposure to what the Order of the Arrow is about, this might be a little confusing. So definitely do some research. We have lots of videos here on this channel that talk about the different aspects in more detail, okay? And that's true for parents and adult leaders out there that want to know. But that is the number 1 question. So everything down from that, 1 through 5, are actually, if you add all of those together, that adds up to that first one. So this is a complex subject, but we're going to get into the top 5 asked questions beyond that one. All right, so let's get started on this Order of the Arrow, or OA, journey. Number 1, who and when was the Order of the Arrow founded? In May of 1915, E. Erner Goodman was appointed to be the camp director at Treasure Island up in Pennsylvania. This was incredibly early in scouting, okay, way back. Carol Etzen was the assistant camp director. Now, Goodman wanted a way to recognize scouts that exemplified the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in a brotherhood of cheerful service. This was super important to him. Now, on July 16th, 1915, the very first induction into the current day Order of the Arrow occurred. Number 2, what is the mission and purpose of the Order of the Arrow? The mission of the Order of the Arrow is to fulfill its purpose as an integral part of the Boy Scouts of America through positive youth leadership under the guidance of select, capable adults. Now, that is the mission statement for the Order of the Arrow. They are an integral part of the Boy Scouts of America. So whether it be Scouts BSA, whether it's a venture crew or a sea ship, Sea Scouts ship, that's one of those things. This is a part of that, and they're all part of that relationship. That's the important bit. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in, but please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Number 3, who can actually join the Order of the Arrow, and how do you become eligible? Well, first off, you need to be registered in the Boy Scouts of America. That's the first requirement. Need to have experienced 15 nights of camping. Now, that can also, if you're in Sea Scouts, that can be at sea, okay? So it can be a combination. of those two things. It can be nights at sea or nights camping. So it's 15 within 2 years. Now, scouts that are under the age of 21 are considered youth in the Order of the Arrow because there's the Venture and Sea Scouts. Scouts BSA, 18 is when you become an adult in Scouts BSA. So there's a video on that. Okay, there's a 3-year gray area, so definitely check out that video. So that's a good one. Now for Scouts BSA, you need to have first class and be approved by the Scoutmaster. Now for Venture Crew, you need to have the Discovery rank and be approved by the Crew Advisor. For Sea Scouts, you need to have the Ordinary rank and be approved by the Skipper. Now for adults that are over 21, they need to go through an approval process with the unit, and that goes to the lodge. Now all of that makes you eligible to be elected. Once you are elected by non-members of your unit, once you're elected, you are a candidate for your ordeal.
Hey, Future Stan here. We discovered in post-production that number 4 didn't really work as far as the video portion of it. So let's talk a little bit about that. Number 4, what is the various activities and programs that are offered by the Order of the Arrow? Most lodges have about 4 to 5 major events or activities a year, and this can vary. Typically, it is seasonal and regional, depending on where you are in the United States, what kinds of programs that are there. These are really for airmen to have fellowship and learn leadership skills of how to run activities. This is also an opportunity to camp without your unit. The airmen can go and be with their chapter at a lodge event. It's an opportunity for the older scouts to get more involved in the leadership of their lodge through their chapter. There is a video on that, and I'll put a link up here on Order of the Arrow Brotherhood. What's next? Check it out. Now we're going to switch right back to the regular video.
Number 5, what are the benefits of being in the Order of the Arrow? Now, for many scouts that are part of the Order of the Arrow, this is an opportunity to join in leadership with non-unit members. So it's all the different units from all over the council at some of these events where you have all the different chapters and the lodge and everything. It is incredibly important that they get that exposure to the different types of leadership, especially the older scouts. Now, I've had scout leaders tell me that the OA actually steals their scouts, but what happens is the OA keeps them involved in their scouting unit. That's what's so interesting about it. Over 80% of the Eagle Scouts that are out there are members of the Order of the Arrow. The reason that they've been able to stay in longer and participate in the opportunities that the Order of the Arrow gives to older scouts. This doesn't get them bored, okay? A lot of times if they don't have that opportunity, the reviewing and teaching over and over scout skills can get monotonous. And a lot of scouts leave because they don't have stuff that they want to get involved in. That's where the Order keeps them involved. And that's why there's so many Eagle Scouts, that have gone through that process. Something to think about. So there's a lot of benefits for a unit to really promote, really keep the Order of the Arrow going, especially for the older scouts. Scouting is so important, and this is one of those aspects that we need to support within our units. So important. And it is amazing, the little white sash and all the ceremonies and all that stuff. It is incredibly important, especially to the youth, to be involved in the Order of the Arrow. So important. And hopefully these are just the first 5 questions. There's lots of questions out there. And that's something you can look into here on this channel. If you have a question I didn't cover, go ahead and put it down there in the comments. I'd love to hear them, and I always answer them. You know that. So definitely that is one of those things. And we do so much for our scouts. We got to keep this up. We got to keep moving forward and teaching good leadership skills to our American youth. So important, so vital, so critical, especially today. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to check out some of these videos on the side here. They will definitely give you more information about the Order of the Arrow. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.